Hello and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Haven't had any videos in a long time. Try and explain that a bit before we get going. We raced Cain's Quest this year, and I raced with a close friend of mine, Rob Gardner. We got a pretty good system on the go. We've been racing as a team together since 2012, but like involved with the race together since 2007, so we got a pretty good handle on how to go about stuff. Unfortunately, this year he was involved in a significant accident in December, and he had to take care of himself and his family and his businesses, so it left a lot of the Cain's Quest stuff to me, and that really changed how the program went. Added to a lot of, late nights, a lot of different organizational practices, so this race was a pretty different experience. Typically Rob takes care of the logistics, I take care of the mechanical. I ended up doing some more of it, so we really weren't, my dog, Wando. So we really weren't ready like we typically are weeks before the race. Yeah, so we typically had the snowmobiles built long before Christmas. That never happened. I was scouting in February, came back, had to finish Rob's sled before the race. Rob got in town. I was super proud. I had our complete track file done over a week before the race, ready to go. Weather happened. Cain's Quest committee did the very best they could, and they changed the route the day before the race, or 2 days before the race, whatever it was. So then we were scrabbling and moving support around, changing route files, this and that. We went to the start line in what I thought was going to be a drag race the first day. I looked around and saw turbo 4-strokes and other fast sleds, and I thought, man, if we can get back around here today after this whole circus and being like the top 5 or even the top 10, that's about as good as it's going to go. And I was right, it turned into a circus. Day one, getting into Shefferville was not like Cain's Quest at all. There was teams bumping and banging and racing for portages, and it was different. We made a good move. We had our support in a good spot. We got out of Shefferville clean ahead of everyone. We slipped and slid down the plowed road, which was interesting. Got on Menahek Lake, headed to Esker, gassed up in Esker, all good. Look back, no headlights coming, and we're finally clean. We're gonna get home out of this respectable, maybe even first, to start off day 2. Never went 2,000 feet. I had the sun in my eyes, trying to look at my GPS, trying to stay on the mandatory route. Looked up, there was a bump this way, and a bump this way, and I flew off of this one, and this one caught me sideways, and I yard sailed this thing across the lake. There was plastic debris for 100 feet. It was disgusting. Rob went back to Esker, got a sleigh from our support crew, came back, picked me up. We put the snowmobile on the sleigh and towed 140 kilometers back to Lab West. Got up in the morning, rebuilt this thing on clock, and got rolling. So people seem to think that we picked up the pace because we were behind. That's false. I got one pace, and it's the same pace I ran from the start to the time correction, from the time correction to Shaw Lake, up to Esker, or up to Shefferville, down to Esker. It's the pace, and it wasn't the fastest at the beginning of the day, but it was fortunately the fastest towards the end of the day. And we just kept running that pace, and we started making some decent time. We had a great ride through the Croche, across to Osak, past Churchill Falls, Mitcham. When we were on the Mitcham, like the top part of Mitcham on the north side of the road, Rob started to find something not right with the suspension. We had a look at it, couldn't see anything. When we got down on the bigger part of Mitcham, I rode a sled from the road crossing to the Wilson River crossing. And there was definitely like a weird onloading, clunking something sometimes. The rebound was off. When we got to the truck, I flipped it up again, and this time it was more obvious because there was some damage done. We lost a bolt, and there was some contact and this and that. So anyway, we pieced that back together. Took off up the Wilson River, crossed the land, dropped down onto the Goose River, and support some food. I was starved. I was like out of energy. I was so hungry. And we only just got rolling from them, and Rob was on the radio, stop. And I went back and his rear arm was broke off very well. I went back to the support this time, got a sleigh, got his snowmobile on the sleigh, and we had to tow into Goose Bay 110 or 120 kilometers with a broken suspension. So we got up the next morning, out with the rear arm, in with another rear arm, and packed up, ready to go, and we took off out Lake Melville. I think we made really, really good time, Lake Melville and the Riglet. If you look at our time, remove our repair, I think we were like, I don't know if we were the fastest, but we were close. When we left Riglet, came back into our support crew on Lake Melville, gassed up, we got whiteout conditions. It sucked, you couldn't see anything. I felt like I was doing a left-hand turn for an hour and a half. We went through the mandatory waypoint up through Harvey's Pass. That was probably the most fun we had in the whole race. The bumps were perfect, the turns were perfect, there was the perfect amount of traction and slip. It was a real ball. Dropped then onto Mulligan River, went a bit up the river, and my snowmobile started to feel not right. Flipped it up on the side, guaranteed. Rear arm broke off. This time we had one with us. So we must have had, I don't know, probably a 40-minute or an hour repair there. It was good though. I mean, like, you're in the woods with your buddy. It's a race, I know, but it is what it is. We were laughing and joking around and eating energy bites, and Rob was texting the girls, and we were pulling wrenches, and we got it pieced back together. Then 85 caught up with us, and good guys. We had a lot of fun racing back and forth with them for the next day and a half. We'd pass them, we'd brake, they'd pass us, we'd fix it. So anyway, that was pretty good. We caught up with our support crew not far after the Mulligan River. More gas, oil, moved on. Had a lot of fun racing with 85. I'm trying to think. I think we beat them in the Postville. Yeah, we did. We beat them in the Postville. The half-hour community engagements were mostly really good. The communities took really good care of us. It was nice to be able to see the kids and get posters and sign flags and that stuff. So that was good. It was a good uplifting atmosphere when you're after pulling wrenches for so long. We did McCovic to Postville, Postville to Hopedale. Hopedale's always the best. They make you feel like a rock star every time you show up. We made really good time there too. Food was good, atmosphere was good. There was a lady there doing interviews. She was on point, asked a lot of good questions. If you can find that on the internet somewhere, that's worth watching. Left Hopedale, and we decided to not go by Natwashish because it wasn't mandatory. We went out around. I don't know if that was the right decision or not. It was rough. Oh my goodness, was it ever rough. We got almost into Maine, and my snowmobile started to feel weird again. A different weird this time. So I stopped, and sure enough, there was bolts broke off in the rear arm. It was a mess. Everything was sliding around into slide rails. There was a shaft missing. So I don't know if we made the right call or not. We thought we had the parts to fix it, so we tried to fix it there. When it turned out, after we spent a lot of time getting everything to line up and push the bolt through, we had the wrong bolt. It wasn't long enough. So I got 2 threads on the bolt, no washers, and limped it into Maine. We had some really good guys in Maine take care of us. They fed us steak twice, so that was pretty good. Good nap, got back on clock, fixed the snowmobile as good as we could with the right parts that we had available, and got rolling. Maine to Natwashish in the daylight was pretty fun. Some of it was a bit rough, but a lot of it was fast. Got off clock in Natwashish, bowl of soup, great soup. Got back on clock and rolled out the back up over Shango Bay and over the land. My snowmobile didn't really feel right. I got off a couple times and checked everything. It felt soft and squishy, but I think the shock was just getting a bit tired. It wasn't awful, it just wasn't perfect. And we went up over what everyone likes to call the moon, where there's nothing, it's just wind. And when we just started to get back into some trees, unfortunately Rob's rear arm broke again. But this time, when Rob's rear arm broke, everything went up in the tunnel, and studded track ripped out the cooler protectors and punctured the heat exchanger, and there was just an orange puddle everywhere. At that point, with 300 kilometers back to Churchill Falls, no coolant, and a big hole in the heat exchanger, I knew we were done. It is what it is. So, fortunately, there was someone's support crew not far behind us, and they gave us a chainsaw. So that was really nice. We would have survived without the chainsaw, but we had a really good bonfire with the chainsaw. So we were just around the fire, waiting for someone to come and save us. Our support crew rolled up, not all that long after we had the fire going really. 2 support crews. And one of the support crews needed some work, so I got out my tools and was working on someone's support crew sled, and we were moving gas cans from this sleigh to that sleigh, and before you knew it, we had everything lashed on sleighs and we were off to Churchill Falls. I think we had an 11-hour tow to Omer Lake Road. It was daylight when we got to Omer Lake Road. We were all tired. So we got into a camp and had a 3-hour nap, and then came down Omer Lake Road, and it is what it is. So that's our Cain's Quest story for 2024. As much as it doesn't sound very good, I mean, I had a lot of failure. We did have a lot of fun. We learned a lot. And most staff, we were grateful to be surrounded by such great people. We had the support crew, the people in the communities, the checkpoint officials, the volunteers. Like, Cain's Quest really brings out the best in people. So I'm ultimately grateful for all the people who got us to where we were and helped us to get there and came and saved us when we needed it. Take a few minutes to thank our sponsors. As you know, racing is not cheap, and without sponsors and help, none of this is possible. No particular order, just what I got jotted down here. Waste Management from Maine, been with us for a long time, thank you. Dice Arts, also from Maine. They're a truck stop, restaurant, one-stop shop, super good guys. I hear it's great food. I've never had the opportunity to eat there, but I know a few people have come in and see Dice Arts on our side panel, and they get all giddy about the ice creams and the big platters and stuff. So it sounds like the place to go if you're traveling through Maine. Herbs Industrial here locally, Colin's been a huge supporter since he started his business. I've tried to help him, but I can never help him as much as he's helped me. We've had hardware and carbides and our 2B suits and helmets, and everything comes from Herbs. Herbs is like a one-stop shop for your recreational stuff. So if you're local, that's a good place to be, and even if you're not local, they do online sales. Chase Toys in Maine, scooter dealer that Rob deals with, they really helped out with parts, big time. Supplied us with a lot of stuff that they knew we would need, and PWR here locally as well let me charge an unbelievable amount of stuff to keep us going. So thank you. Twin City Distributors here in Lab West, Deanna and Vanessa, not only were they great sponsors financially, but they are my neighbors, and they didn't care about the road being blocked off with trailers and not being able to use their driveway. They even encouraged it. So they helped Grayson out throughout the week and stuff. So thank you so much. Stag and Templeman, Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf is David Hughes. He was part of our support crew. He helped out with gas and stuff, and he was also nice enough to go to Esker for us. Unfortunately, we didn't make it to him, but next time, buddy. Todd Stokes, TLD suspension, me and him go back a long time. These were the best riding snowmobiles I have ever had, period. When we get the rear arm figured out, no one will keep up with this. Not because I'm so good, but because the suspension is so good. So Todd is a huge part of that whole program, and I'll always be thankful for all the help he does, the late nights and all that stuff. Hodge Brothers and Industrial Sales, 2 more local companies, always help out, always behind me. Carol Otto, the local Ford dealer. Coutts, Dennis, thanks for your help, Dennis, and coming up and driving and just always being there and being a good spirit with us. So Dennis has been with us a long time. Northern Latitude Adventures in Goose Bay, that's Jamie and Nick, friends of ours. They helped with some scouting, they did some support, they helped with some route planning. They're getting set up to do some guiding and some tours in Labrador, and I tell you, they got their show together. They know what time to go, and if you can get hooked up with them to do some trips, you will definitely have a good time. They got it figured out. And when it all comes down to it, and the bill's still got to be paid, it comes down on me and Rob. So thank you, Rob, with the contribution from the ice cream shop and my little business I got going here, Andrew Milley Performance. That's where it comes into the shock tuning and the clutches and stuff. So we keep it all going. And again, just another thanks to all the people who helped along the way, even if it was just a pat on the back. And don't be discouraged, you got this. It all really matters when it comes down to it. So thank you to everyone who helped.